7 hours in bed last night, and you still got up in 3 movements instead of 1. The sleep was fine. Rebuild the muscle you used yesterday, or take it apart for amino acids needed elsewhere. A calculation you never feel happen, decided almost entirely by a 2-hour window most people fill with nothing more than a cracker and a cup of tea. Before this is over, I'll give you the last 90 minutes before bed, step by step, food by food. The clock only makes sense once you see how the whole night gets spent. Muscle repair is not a daytime job. Carrying groceries up your porch steps, standing out of a low chair, ordinary use of muscle you don't think twice about. And your body treats it like any other use, something to restock. The repair happens later, mostly during deep sleep. Growth hormone release peaks in that same window. And it's when amino acids already in your blood get pulled into muscle to patch what you used. It never sends you a receipt. A factory needs material on the floor when the shift starts. Yours takes its last delivery with dinner, and then the dock is empty. 8 hours of construction work on an empty loading dock. I think that one sentence explains more about muscle after 65 than any exercise plan you have been handed. Now stack a second problem on the first. An older muscle needs a bigger protein signal to answer it all. Researchers call it anabolic resistance. A signal that flipped the switch easily at 40 can pass through you at 70 and barely register. A bigger dinner misses the window anyway. Dinner is broken down and largely spent within a few hours. That window needs a protein that refuses to finish. 2 crackers and a cup of tea. That is the usual answer at that hour, and between them, there is barely a gram of protein. One protein keeps working after you fall asleep. Casein curdles in stomach acid, forms a soft gel, and drips amino acids into your blood over hours instead of minutes. That drip is the whole idea. Whey, the protein in most shakes, does almost the opposite. A quick spike within the hour, then gone before the window even opens. A controlled trial tested this directly in men in their 70s. Casein before sleep. Amino acids measured through the night. Overnight muscle protein synthesis came out higher in the group that took it. The number that keeps showing up is 40 grams. In that same trial, 20 grams wasn't enough to move the needle. The best food in this video costs $2. It sits in a plastic tub with the protein number printed on the back, where you have to turn it over to read it. Cottage cheese. Read the label and get yourself to about 40 grams. On most tubs, that's a cup and a half. Well past the half cup you'll see quoted online. If that much food that late doesn't appeal to you, a cup of cottage cheese with half a scoop of plain casein powder stirred in gets you to the same place with less to chew. Take the low-fat version either way, because fat is the part that makes lying down uncomfortable. The food is the easy half. Get the food right and the clock wrong, and the night still ends in a loss. 3 evening habits close this window before the protein arrives. One of these 3 is on your table tonight. The 90-minute plan I promised cancels all 3, so keep track of which one is yours. Habit 1. The heavy late dinner. A large fatty meal at 8 or 9 sounds like it should help. It slows stomach emptying instead, and digestion keeps running while you're trying to sleep, which shows up as more time awake in the night and lower sleep quality overall. You end up holding the fuel and missing the factory. Habit 2 doesn't feel like a mistake at all. It feels like the thing that's helping you sleep. It starts with 1 glass of wine at 9. You fall asleep faster, and that part is real. Alcohol even deepens sleep for the first few hours. Then, the bill comes due. As it clears your system, the second half of the night turns shallow and fragmented, often with an early morning wake-up you can't explain. And that back half of the night is exactly when the rest of the repair work was still supposed to be running. It buys the falling asleep and spends the building. Habit 3 is the one that looks like the healthy choice. It's also the one I'd actually argue about. The kitchen closes at 6. It gets treated as a health rule, and there is a real sense of having been good about it. Run the clock on that. Dinner at 5:30. Lights out at 10, eyes open at 7. That is over 13 hours with no protein arriving. And if breakfast waits until 8, past 14. At 35, with a muscle-building response that fires easily, that gap is just a gap. After 65, with anabolic resistance already making that response harder to trigger, every one of those long, empty stretches is a missed chance to close it. Not faster damage, just a repeated missed opportunity. The food takes one trip to the store. The clock is free, and there's a version of it almost nobody follows correctly, even the people who think they've already fixed it. You're already forming the objection. Didn't they tell you never to eat before bed? For one group, that advice was correct. If you have reflux, lying down on a full stomach pushes acid where it doesn't belong, and no amount of overnight repair is worth a night of that. The videos that skip this are the ones you stop believing halfway through. So the snack is designed around exactly that. Always the low-fat version, never straight from the freezer. Fat relaxes the valve at the top of your stomach and slows emptying. If symptoms still show up, move it an hour earlier and raise the head of your bed roughly 6 to 8 inches. Then talk to your doctor before you change anything else. And if your doctor has already told you to stop eating 3 hours before bed, that instruction wins, every time. Everyone else's problem isn't reflux, it's a number, 3 to 5% every 10 years. Past 30, you lose somewhere in the range of 3 to 5% of your muscle every decade, and after 60, the line gets steeper. That number decides whether you carry your own groceries at 80, and whether you get up off the floor without a hand. 365 of these nights a year, and nobody is deciding what happens inside any of them. The last 90 minutes, step by step. Keep this open on your phone tonight. The last 2 steps are the ones people skip first. 90 minutes out. Call it 8:30 if you are in bed by 10, which puts dinner 2 hours behind you at 6:30. 1 glass of water. 4 is a trip down the hall at 3 in the morning. 60 minutes out. A cup and a half of low-fat cottage cheese, or a cup of it with half a scoop of plain Casein powder stirred in, if that much food feels like too much. Check the label and land on the same 40 grams. Buy it plain, because the fruit on the bottom version is sugar arriving at the wrong hour. Stay upright for 20 minutes afterward. Then comes a gap where nothing else enters at all. No wine, no crackers at the counter. 30 minutes out, lights down and screens down. If magnesium is something you and your doctor have already discussed, this is where it belongs. The last step has no timestamp. Room cool, and the tub back in the door for tomorrow. Then you stop being involved, and the shift starts without you. Give it 2 weeks, and the place you'll notice it first isn't the scale. It's stranger than that. The proof shows up in the first 10 minutes after you open your eyes. Watch how you get out of bed tomorrow. One motion, or a roll and a push and a pause. Then the jar in the refrigerator door, because grip is an honest marker of the muscle you can't see. Night 3 is where this dies. Nothing has happened yet, and the tub is still half full in the door. 14 nights is the honest minimum, and nobody expects a bruise to be gone the next morning either. One piece can cancel all of it. The protein does far less if deep sleep isn't there to spend it. If your sleep is already broken, the magnesium video above comes first. Everyone else, stay where you are. A stiff jar lid isn't a birthday candle. It's 10 unwatched hours, and tonight's dinner is the first one you get to watch. So tonight, 2 numbers. Dinner done by 6:30, and the tub in the refrigerator door at eye level, where you'll see it when you reach for the wine. The information in this video is for educational purposes only, compiled from open sources, and does not substitute medical advice. Please consult your doctor for any health-related concerns. You won't feel it tomorrow. You'll feel it the morning you forget to notice, when getting up doesn't cost you a thought. Night decides how much muscle you keep. The first 40 minutes after you wake up decide whether you can actually use it. And breakfast usually gets that backwards. That one is next.